Hey guys, today is March 18th. It's a Friday, and my 4 years and 3 months happened on the 13th of this month. So I'm going to do a quick update on what's going on. As far as physical changes are concerned, I noticed that I have gained quite a bit of strength in the last month. My T levels were up in the 900s for a couple months. I've never gotten that high before. And then my endo and I consulted on last Friday on why I have inconsistent T levels, because it went from 946 down to 537 in less than 6 weeks. So we talked about well, I'll go into the endo real quick. So we talked about the possibility of, I showed concern regarding the oil, the tea that I get. It's from the same company, but sometimes it comes in white, and sometimes it'll be a yellowish color. She said she hadn't heard of that before, but it could be a possibility that the yellow is not as good, and that if I notice it, to show the pharmacist and see what they say. She also mentioned that when shooting the muscle with testosterone, that sometimes certain areas can absorb better than other areas, and that could cause inconsistencies. I don't shoot in the same area, so that might be part of it. I go up and down the leg, I rotate left and right. Could be part, who knows. Also the fact that I asked her about my Hashimoto's, could that be in relation to it? She didn't think so. But she said if we can't resolve getting the levels consistent in the next couple months or so, that she might suggest that I try a patch. Now, I've heard of the trans women having patches for estrogen, but I have not heard of any guys doing a patch for testosterone. I know there's a gel and a foam, but I never heard of a patch. And she might have been thinking of the estrogen, but maybe you guys have heard of it, I haven't. So that's our step there. So the reason why I went into that real quick regarding physical changes, I went to the gym the first of the week, hadn't been there in a month probably, and I started out 20 pounds heavier than I left at before. So maybe with the testosterone being in the higher 900s, that I've had an increase in muscle strength, maturity, whatever. I feel really good. My muscles feel really good. I felt really good working out. I don't spend a lot of time working out. I'm not a gym rat. I feel that you could even get a big body at home, if you have the discipline. I don't have the discipline. I've tried it, I've bought all the stuff at home, and I ended up selling it. So going to the gym makes me accountable to work out really good when I go. A lot of hair's been coming back on in the inner arm here. Now, when I had my surgery, my donor site was totally bald, but I do have hair coming out on my phallus. So I just call it phallus. It's a medical terminology for it. It kind of separates the personal when I'm talking about it to society. It's not real bad, but the guys I know that's had surgery has mentioned that they have had hair come out too. So I don't know if electrolysis can get all the hair forever, since it's skin. They tried laser on me, it didn't work, but I had hours and hours of electrolysis. So like I said, it was bald going in, but I do have some coming out. I pluck. It's just something that what it is what it is. Am I going to do electrolysis on my phallus? No. Only because I know, well, not only because, number one is I'm pretty modest, and I don't want to be having somebody do that. Number two, the nerve is very sensitive, and even when I use my electric shaver to get some of the hairs, it gets a little sensitive. So I find myself just continually evolving into Ethan. It's like being a newborn, learning your name. You have all the fundamentals about, mobility and all that stuff, but it's part of starting out as a newborn, learning your name, learning a new language, and how you talk with others. You have to be careful how you talk with children. You have to be careful in how you talk with other women. It's a behavioral that we weren't raised in, so we have to educate ourselves, go by gut instinct, and learn from other guys. I'm constantly observing other guys in public. I just watch their mannerisms. I just watch how they talk with each other. Sometimes I mimic things, sometimes I think, I'm not going to be that way, and other things. But it is a constant growing. I just get more and more comfortable with myself. My mom every once in a while still she's me, and she'll correct herself real quick, and as I'm reminding her, she goes, I corrected myself. That's going to be a forever thing. 50 years of being female, what do you expect from your parent, right? My family's good, everyone's good. I'm just moving into a different era in my life. Not only am I 54, but I'm a great uncle. And I find that I'm not as involved in the family as I was when my nephews and nieces were growing up. Now, instead of my sister being close really with me, she's close with her kids as adults. And so you kind of change, you kind of go into a different place in the family tree. And it's been kind of hard. It's been heartbreaking, but it's not been like someone's trying to hurt me or anything. It's just a changing of cycles. It's a changing of generations. My nieces and nephews all have their kids. The oldest, I think, out of all of them is like 10 or 11 now. My mom has like 16 great-grandchildren. And I have no kids, so you can imagine if I had kids, what the family tree would look like. But so I'm just growing into this person, and Tony and I are experiencing it, and she loves every bit of change. She's comfortable with it. She's felt like she's been blessed, along with I know I've been blessed with her. We've had our, bouts with medical issues. I told you before, just before my surgery in August, that April she was diagnosed with breast cancer. We got through that. We got through the surgery. She chose to have a double mastectomy. She's cancer free so far. It's been almost a year. In April it will be. Things are just moving in life, and that's why I think a lot of guys don't do the videos that much anymore, because they don't really have anything to say. Of course, we mature for 10 years at least, into this body. But I like to continue to share, because I like to just show that you still deal with some social issues. You still deal with judgments. You still deal with feeling second class, or still feeling like a minority in ways, but it doesn't have to take you from being any less of a person than anybody else. When I see things like that, when I experience things like that, I take it for what it is. I take it for either the ignorance of other people, the sadness I feel for those people that have no clue what they're doing to other people. And what goes around does come around, people. It does. You may not see it in your time or in your time with those people, but it does come around. It's just karma. I just really, really believe that. But when I feel, sad, or when I feel like, realize that I am always going to be a trans man, I start digging deep in the positives of that. So I'm a trans man. So I'm not biological male. Mentally, I am biologically male, but physically, I never been treated like a biological male or raised like a biological male. And so, how do I view that trans man in me of having a great opportunity to break down the walls in which I was raised in, to force me to search for answers that were not in my immediate area of learning, to force me to teach others by my lead of example that you can be different. You don't have to follow a box in order to be human, and to be a good human and a kind human and a blessed human. So that's how I view my life, okay? I talk about this all the time with my wife. If I had not been born this way, I really fear I would have been caught up in that box of conservatism and religious ways. And that I'm thankful for, that I was not born that way, and I was born my way, and forced to search out about sexual orientation, search out about why I felt like a guy inside, but I wasn't born a physical male. And where did I end up at? It brought me here to a well-rounded person. It brought me out of a religious box. It brought me out of a conservative box. It made me tear down walls. It made me look at people. And still to this day, I look at people in a different way, just transitioning, because I cannot judge anybody who is different from me. No matter what it is, no matter if it's a physical, or they have a fetish, or they're tattooed from head to toe, or they wear earrings in every orifice and every part of their skin. There's no judgment from me. They see themselves in the mirror every day. They have to love that person. And that's the number one thing, is you have to love that person in order to love somebody else in your life. And a lot of us think we love people, but it's not until we really are happy with that person in the mirror that love opens another door, and you go on a different ride with that. So yeah, I'm constantly evolving, and I'll continue to do videos, and I may repeat the same talk, but it's just showing you that I'm continually growing. I'm continuing to open my eyes to different things and how different we are from one another. Whether we have labels for it or not, we are definitely, every individual is born or made in a different mold. There's not one alike. So it's exciting, it's scary sometimes, but I just keep growing, and I love the opportunity I have to be me and stand before you and share this. So I ask you guys who are struggling, take it one day at a time. Remember, you can't control other people, only control what you do, how you react. And always make your journey as simple as possible. We'll talk to you later.